Okay, so let's talk about the Maxine trailer. We've been waiting for this. We had the teaser back at TIFF like 2 years ago. Then we got the first picture with Halsey and Mia Goth together on what seems to be the Hollywood Boulevard. And now we have the full trailer. Finally, after all this time we've been waiting, the film will be coming out on July 5th, July 4th weekend. Make sure you dress your patriotic best as you go see this film. But let's talk about what exactly this trailer showed us and told us about this film that is going to finish the trilogy that started with X and was followed by Pearl, and now we have Maxine XXX. So before we get into it, make sure you are also being subscribed to our channel and hit a notification bell. We got a ton of series to talk about Maxine as we ramp up for its release, so if you don't want to miss any of those videos, make sure you are subscribed. We're about to hit 30K subscribers, less than 2,000 to go, so super excited about that. But also we are funding our own short horror film. You can check it out in the Seed and Spark down below in the link. Really would appreciate a share or any of that. But let's get on with Maxine and the 1980s vibe we got from this trailer. So before we get into it, here's a synopsis that was released by A24 in which they say in 1980s Hollywood, adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Minx finally gets their big break. But as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. So from what we got in this trailer, it seems that they are using Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, which was an actual serial killer back in the 80s in Los Angeles. And this is the second time in my experience that I've seen this be done for something mainstream, where we saw it with American Horror Story 1984. And you know, it might be another instance or time they've used Richard Ramirez, but that's the only time I can think of recently that we've seen, which was back like in 2019. And so I'll talk more about that theory and who could possibly be the killer here in another video, because I got some theories after watching this trailer a couple of times, because I was just trying to get pictures and stuff to use. And so I was able to catch some things I feel that might be interesting to talk about. So stay tuned for that video, but let's get on with how this trailer starts. So pretty much at the beginning of the trailer, what we see is that Maxine is going in for an audition. And so what we do know about this audition, it is for a horror movie apparently that's called The Puritan. And it's giving me vibes of Pearl here. So we don't know exactly where this movie idea came from or what it is. But what we do see is that Maxine is auditioning for this role. And we see that Elizabeth Debicki is going to be the director, as we had been told before that she would be playing this director, and we see Maxine auditioning for this role. Now, another thing to note is I don't think anybody really knows exactly what happened at the farmhouse in Texas from the events of X, as it seems that this is something Maxine is trying to hold back as we hear about her past catching up to her. And so there could be a possibility that we see Maxine being blackmailed, as we also see another part of the trailer showcase Maxine receiving this package, and in it, it says Maxine with a videotape. And when you play the videotape, we hear Lorraine's scream from the farm. So we could possibly be seeing somebody trying to blackmail Maxine about those events. So we know the film takes place in 1985. As I said before, it is 80s and it is oozing with the 80s vibe for sure. In this film, you also have a bunch of other stars, including Kevin Bacon, Bobby Cannavale, Elizabeth Debicki, Moses Sumney, Michelle Monaghan, Lily Collins, Halsey, and Giancarlo Esposito. Moses Sumney looks like to be a friend of Maxine who works at a video store, as we see them at the beginning of the trailer talking about Hollywood stars that got their start in horror, because I mean, horror has given us some amazing stars, right? But they talk about the likes of Jamie Lee Curtis, John Travolta, Demi Moore, and now Maxine says, and the next one is Maxine Minx. I really like the aesthetics of the film, honestly, as I'm looking at these pictures right now, right? It's like just a great vibe. Next couple of shots we see is of Halsey and also of Maxine walking down the boulevard, talking about the Night Stalker and trying to be careful about that. We get some real life news footage reports of those times, talking about the Night Stalker and everything they're doing, and Halsey just tells Maxine to be careful. We then get a shot of Kevin Bacon's character, who is playing a private investigator looking for Maxine, and he claims he works for a very powerful man. So in my opinion, this is a character that is working for Maxine's father. As we know, Maxine left that sort of cult church that her father was running. We saw a little bit during X as they were watching this broadcast in the farmhouse. And so I believe that Kevin Bacon is looking for Maxine for that purpose, or could also be looking for Maxine for the events that happened during X. Maxine ultimately helped to take down Howard and Pearl on their murderous rampage they were on. And we also then get a shot of Maxine hallucinating and seeing Pearl in what seems to be the Bates Motel. Is Maxine getting a Universal lot tour here, it seems? We'll see. Universal Studios making an appearance? Maybe. But we then get some shots of Maxine and also of the carnage that this Night Stalker apparently is causing, where they are leaving this pentagram as sort of their calling card of sorts, which is something apparently that was done by the real killer, Richard Ramirez. We then get a couple of shots of the character of Michelle Monaghan and Bobby Cannavale as the LAPD officers who are investigating all of this, and they're pretty much trying to get to the bottom of it. Then we also see a shot of what we assume to be the killer in this movie at this sort of peep show, and we also see Maxine watching the video of what happened, where we see them discussing maybe that they are getting blackmailed, and if they can talk to them. It looks like somebody found the tapes of what happened at the farmhouse, and now they're trying to blackmail Maxine for whatever it may be. Could it be the killer, or could it just be the church itself that she left? Giancarlo Esposito's character apparently is playing sort of Maxine's agent, the one that's looking to get her all of these gigs, and we see him here sporting a very 80s look with a very fine hair. So we see then as Lily Collins' character, who seems to be one of the stars of The Puritan as well, which may be the first Puritan film that they made, because they're now making a sequel, and she's just covered in blood there. I'm very curious to see what that's all about. We then see also Maxine, and what I am assuming is Maxine dressed up as Brittany Snow's character in X, and in my opinion this could possibly mean they're trying to do a film about the events of the Texas porn house, they're calling it apparently, massacre, and Elizabeth Debicki is the director there. And we see a man looking at Maxine as well in another shot where they seem to be on the lot where they're filming this, and this possibly could be Maxine's father, it seems. Kind of has a similar vibe, but we don't really get a good shot to really see who this is right here. We also then see that this man ends up chasing Maxine, so I'm not entirely sure if that would be her father. I feel her father would be a little bit older to be chasing her like this, but we don't know. Maybe a family member of hers. But we get the rest of the cast here and some amazing title fonts, all of that. Lily Collins looks to be playing a pretty insane character from this. And then we also get to see a little bit what seems to be the cult. I'm not entirely sure, and they're holding like these weapons, so things are about to get very insane. And this shot, spoiler, could be Halsey, it seems, maybe a vision of sorts that Maxine is having. And that's pretty much the trailer right there. And one of the last final shots we see is of Maxine tied up and of the cult with the guns. So could they have possibly taken Maxine and they're trying to hold her, whatever, for what that case may be? Who knows? But this trailer looked great. It really got the vibes straight for me of what this movie is going to be, and honestly it exceeded what I was thinking this movie was going to be just like. And I'm excited for this movie. Like I said, it's going to be coming out July 5th, July 4th weekend, be there, and it looks like this is going to be one hell of a movie. Even Mia Goth talked about it to Variety in January, where she said it's the biggest story of the three with the highest stakes, and Maxine has gone through so much at this point. So when we find her in this new world, she's just a force to be reckoned with, and she goes through some pretty wild adventures. So I believe that there's multiple things going on in this movie at a time. We're going to have the killer stalking, we're going to have the cult trying to find Maxine, and we're going to have Maxine trying to make it. I really like this whole layered approach to the story instead of just one possible thing. And we'll see what happens. A maximalist 80s vibe to the final conclusion of the X trilogy is exactly what we needed, and I'm here for it. But we'll talk more theories and all of that about the killer, because I have my thoughts and opinions on that. I really do think there's some red herrings here. And yeah, let me know what you think about the movie itself, the trailer, if you're excited or not. We'll be talking more about the film as we get more information. We do have another video coming out this week for the film with theories just based on this trailer, so stay tuned for that, and make sure you know when it drops by hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell, because YouTube likes to be funny with subscriptions. Also, like I said, we are running our Seed and Spark campaign for a short horror film we're trying to fund, so make sure you go check it out in the description below. And as always, I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.